We're actually playing a game. Can you believe it? Oh shit! I forgot to. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh no. This is how I feel driving out on the fucking highway in this thing. Oh yeah, I forgot you could do that. You just like jump like Here we go. Did they change the music? Maybe they did. There used to be a different sound. That sucks. Yeah, they changed the music on this. It used to be da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na-na. I remember it. Yeah, they changed. Fuck, that sucks. They changed the fucking music, bro. I used to like the other song. Man. Oh no, here it is. Yeah, it's the same song. Let's get way off of that part. Let me change my thing real quick. Because I feel like whenever I change the category, no one fucking watches this. So I'm just gonna keep it to just chatting and let them watch me play the game. Fuck it. Oh shit. So fast. The fucking chicken. Fucking hits himself. I just like doing this. shit.
Change my TV. If I know our dreams come true, it feels like a certain idea. There's isn't for sure that change that we fall. To me, so if I could
The hammer and sickle. last one. Oh shit. I like how there's just a bear right here. It's not even doing anything. It's just for like background. What the fuck? Oh, I remember this guy. I can't jump on top of it? Fuck. You can't destroy these things, so you have to just run past them. Oh shit. I forgot you can get a game over on this. Since it says I have 0 lives, I wonder if I get a game over like right away. Let's find out. Oh, we're good. Yeah. dude's got a Kamehameha. Ah, shit, I forgot he does that. Fuck. I don't know how to dodge it either. You have to like go on the ground. Yeah, like that. Yeah, this boss is kind of hard, actually. Shit. Fuck. Stay under there, buddy. Is it gonna do that? I might be cold rain tonight. Shit. This game is actually pretty short. It's like a lot shorter than I remember it being. There's only like 3 main areas in this entire game. It's the urban area, the Russian area, and the Area 51. There's only like 6 main areas. So, for once in my life, let me get what I want. Lord knows it would be the first time. Lord knows it would be the first time. So please, 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 let me get what I want this time. Let me get what I want this time. I've had a dream a long time. So if I can't get so please, for once in my life, let me get what I want. Lord knows it would be the first time. Lord knows it would be the first time. I'll see his face. I said, they're killing me off. They counted me. This is not my favorite. Oh yeah, he fucking grabbed me twice. I wonder how far you are. Oh my god, that's far. How the fuck do you avoid that shit? You can't. I don't even know how you can avoid it, to be honest. You just keep like, but then you have to like. There's definitely more than this. Son of a bitch! Ah! Resume game. Oh yeah, these fuckers. I like how the fucking birds are like struggling with fucking soldiers. Back up the hours, that shit. You lied to me, Dad. Now you make Mommy sad. When I bought you this coin, it says number one dad. Oh yeah, this shit. That's fucking garbage. I wonder if there's like a speed in this game. I wonder what the is. ship's technology. And use it for Russian evil. Let's make this shit count. Come here, I'll take it over. Drive you around, car. Every time I pin down what I think I want, it slips away. The ghost slips away. Days I can't wash away your sun. Finally giving up with I guess I always feel as me. Maybe I'm okay with that. Maybe I'm a fantasy. Life of chasing butterflies. I'm sorry for what I did. I did what my body told me to. I didn't mean to do you harm. Every time I pin down what I think I want, it slips away. It goes, slips away. in the ass. It's like just shoves into the fucking ass for It's really annoying. Let's go to bed, guys. It's 9:42. Yeah, there's only 5 more levels after this one. I forgot how this game is like pretty short, actually. I forgot how short it was. So there's 5 levels per world. Well, no, there's 6 levels per world because there's 5 levels in the urban one, 6 levels in the Russian one, and then it looks like 5 levels in the Area 51, but they might have a secret 6th one, for all I know. Oh shit, my camera. No. My bad. Super view. Super view. Okay. Well, gang, I mean, I guess that's it for tonight. I don't really have anything else to do or say. I played the game for a little bit. Just wanted to see what was up with it, you know? What you know? My brother tried to get me to sell t-shirts with my artwork on it, but I was like, nah, dude. I was like, nah, dude. Although, you know, I am pretty proud of some of the stuff I've made, which is pretty rare for me pretty rare for me to be proud of anything I make, but so far, you know, these selections of things here I actually do like, and I feel like if I were a kid and I was looking at this shit, I think it'd be cool to look at. You know, if I was like a kid or like a child, I'd be like, dude, this shit's awesome. This stuff especially. The only thing my stuff lacks is I need more of it. And I know it's quality over quantity. That's why it takes me fucking years to... It takes me years to... Or a long time to fucking get shit going that's decent. But, you know, I just... I'm trying to make cool shit, you know? I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. This is wrong with my music files. I've been trying to like make more music, but I'm just not that good at it, to be completely honest with you guys. I was gonna get like a keyboard and a new what is that one fucking thing called? 808s, the fucking the fucking 404, whatever the fuck it's called, not the 808s, but the 404. I wanted to do that. The audio's not even configured. Yeah, see, that's just a loop. But, I feel like if I get like a 404 and start putting samples in it, that might actually help me branch out in terms of ideas. It's actually not bad. Some dude put his link in a contact card in a book in Barnes and Nobles. I was looking through this Franz Kafka section. And I was flicking through it. I think it was I don't know if it was the Metamorphosis. I think it was the Metamorphosis and other stories. Flicking through it, and then I got to a page, and there's a little contact card in it with like a sticker and like a picture. I'm like, oh, let's see what this is. So I fucking scanned it with my phone, and it led to a Spotify link, and this guy's fucking music fucking page showed up. His Spotify. And you know what? It's not bad. I mean, that's kind of a cool way to advertise your shit, to be honest. I mean, I would probably do the exact same thing. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing when I start making more stuff. I bought more books. I bought a book on the Enlightenment, and I also bought a book on what else did I buy? I bought a book on I bought The Decline of the West, both volumes by Oswald Spengler. And then I bought what the fuck was it called? Revolt Against the Modern World by Julius Evola. So those are on the way. And I think what was that one? Oh, I got a couple more books on my list, actually. I'm not sure if I think Nick Land is a good writer. I'm not sure if I take stock in any of his ideas. But I think I want to get Fang Numina and then The Dark Enlightenment. Supposedly, The Dark Enlightenment is what inspired that one fucking guy's fucking weird shit. Peter Thiel's little talk on the Antichrist and shit. He was apparently inspired by Nick Land a little bit, so I think I don't know. I'll read it. I don't give a fuck. Oh, he's got a new book out too. Occult Xenosystems. The Xenosystems blog. Humanity's potential future. I already know what humanity's potential future is. You have to look at the trends right now. Like what's going on right now is how it's going to be in the future. Like the future is like the same shit but worse. Not to be too pessimistic on it, but just picture like stuff how it is now, but even worse. That's kind of how I see it, to be honest. I think in the future, nothing really is going to change that much. It's going to be exactly how it is right now, but just kind of worse. That's all. And oh. What a weird picture for your book, though. I think some of the interesting ideas and concepts that should be talked about more is the fact that most of Generation Z and hereafter are not going to be able to actually breed or have children, viable children. Most of the children who are going to be born into this world will not be better off. I think it should be stated. And I don't mean that in like a horrible way. I mean that in just a matter of fact way. You don't really have to be a prophet to just have common sense and to be able to read in between the lines of current events and what is shaping out to be for the near future. And as sexist as it sounds, men are the cornerstone of culture. And most guys have sort of been neutered from an early age due to technology and distractions. So it's not really stated enough that the only reason why guys were impressive in the past was to sort of push their ego upon the world, because most of the time they would feel like they were useless. And a lot of guys feel useless nowadays, but the energy's not there because a lot of the time there's too much pornography and there's too much entertainment. And I think because of all the entertainment and pleasure, it's too comfortable, and obviously you can't really make an ambitious person out of a comfortable person that's okay with where they're at. Guys are better off like having nothing in life, because then they have a lot of room to grow. If guys are given everything, they're kind of fucked. It's kind of paradoxical, but if you have like a lot of money from the start and you have a lot of stuff and you can eat whatever you want, you're kind of at a disability, because there's no room to actually improve on anything. If you can get everything a la carte, there's no void to fill. Most of a lot of people who come into money end up being very weird because they don't know what to do with themselves half the time. So their form of rebellion is self-destruction, because destruction is something that they've never actually tasted before. I think the modern woman and the modern man are pale imitations of what is ideal or what should be. And I think if you fail, I'm not saying people are perfect, but the less perfect that you are, the worse you are overall. Because ideals are measures. And how you measure up to the ideals is what matters, not the fact that you have to be perfect, but you should at least be reaching for it. And if you don't reach for it at all and you choose to be rebellious or complacent, you're going to find that you're a lot more miserable than had you tried to be pure and clean. Nothing that I say is entertaining. Everything I say is purely boring because I spew like ideas at people. I'm more like a modern philosopher than anything, and people find philosophy boring. The average person usually just wants to be entertained by something, so either through pornographic content or comedy or something perplexing or strange. And when you come upon a person that is kind of sincere and is trying to find some kind of truth or trying to glean some knowledge out of current context, you're not going to get a lot of notoriety from your peers because most of the time your peers are not very smart. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Most people are not very intellectual. And I'm not saying they should be. Most people shouldn't be. But again, it's niche. It's almost too niche. Most of the books that have been written on philosophy didn't really get any kind of traction till way later in life, sometimes posthumously. So most of Friedrich Nietzsche's books didn't sell at all while he was alive. He died in his 30s, 40s? He died 55. Friedrich Nietzsche's books did not sell well during his lifetime. For most of his career, his works were commercial failures, and he often had to pay for their publication himself. His early works had very limited readership. For example, The Birth of Tragedy sold only about 600 copies in its initial years. Human, All Too Human sold only 120 of the 1,000 printed copies in its first year. He financed the printing of his own books. He could only find 7 people to whom he could send a copy. While he gained some small recognition late in his life, it was only after his mental breakdown in 1889, and particularly after his death in 1900, that his work achieved widespread popularity. So, death is like a very, it's a great marketable thing. Death is a part of marketing. Death seems to be a great marketing tool for a person if they want to get popularity. The reason being is that you're not accessible anymore. Your soul and your person is no longer existent, and because of that, people are more interested in you. More like they're interested in the idea of you. The actual human being behind all of this stuff is less important than the mythos of what people turn the man into. Most of the men in history are bastardized by historical accounts. They become less like events and more like parables or some kind of fable. And that's not really a real history. That's it's just a story fabricated by a person to extravagize, or if that's even a word, to glorify the story of humanity through the lens of a few great men. And I think I'm pretty sure the story of the Turin horse is not real. I think that was made up after his death because it makes it seem more dramatic. And people like drama, so. It's supposed to be kind of an irony to Nietzsche himself as a person because it shows empathy on his part, which he was sort of not necessarily against empathy, but he thought of some of these things as effeminate, and he tended to have cared more about great men in history and the will to power and such things than the herd. And the herd, of course, needs empathy to survive. So him showing remorse and pity for an animal getting whipped is sort of is a little too theatrical for it to be true, but it's a story that most people like to hear about because it's just so entertaining. It's an apocryphal story. Nobody was really keeping tabs on this guy. Nobody was keeping tabs on him as a person during his life. His own sister was just kind of there collecting his thoughts and even bastardizing his own work and taking out of context. But some of that was really the only correspondence he had was his sister and maybe a couple colleagues like what the fuck was his name? I can't even remember his name. He had a professor that he used to talk to, and Wagner as well. Fuck. I can't believe I don't remember his name. I have a book by him. What was his name? He followed a favor with him, though. They kind of... What the fuck was his name? Ugh. Well, I can't find the book, but it doesn't matter anyways, I guess. Forget about it. Also, I started reading Critique of Pure Reason by Immanuel Kant. I'm reading the introduction, and so far, what I got out of it is a few funny anecdotes of him as a person. Just the fact that he had a butler or a helper named Lamp or Lampe. I don't know what the fuck to pronounce it. But every morning he would get Immanuel Kant up out of his bed at 5 a.m. Because he had like a very stiff schedule, and he would be like huddled in his little blankie. He'd be like huddled in his blanket, like a cocoon. Like he wouldn't be under the sheets. He would be like curled up, rolled up like in a cocoon, and he would have to like help him out of it. And eventually he like became an alcoholic and quit, or died. I don't remember which one, but it kind of impacted Kant a little bit. That he wrote in his journal that he had to forget about him. Just reading about that he hated talking about philosophy with people, and unlike Socrates, who was all about dialectical, and the Socratic method of talking to people. Dialectics. Can't believe that he wanted to. Can't believe that if you, it's not good to like talk to people in person because it kind of catches you off guard. Whereas it's better to be in solitude and talk and kind of write at length about what your ideas actually are. Forgot what they described Kant as. He was like a transcendental idealist, but he was also he was slightly an empiricist, just slightly, because he was they take him as like a middle point between rationalism and empiricism. Because he thought that all knowledge is all knowledge comes from a subjective point of view. Because the objective reality, there's no such thing as sensible experience, because you have to have a substratum of a subjective viewer to make sense of objective reality itself, and the sensible stimuli to glean any kind of knowledge from it. So a lot of philosophers of his time and thinkers were sort of abandoning a lot of the old ways of thinking that were a little too dogmatic, a little too religious for people. They started becoming more atheistic, more empirical, more scientific. They were trying to remove God out of any kind of thought process, thinking that it was too limiting for people, and they thought it was liberating for people to kind of be more atheistic and more humanistic than religious. So Kant didn't really like that. He was actually pretty religious himself. He studied theology and philosophy and mathematics. But David Hume, I'm not a big fan of David Hume. I like Nietzsche as a writer. I think he has some compelling ideas for sure. I think master and slave morality are definitely... he didn't come up with that, by the way. I want people to know that right now. The entire idea of master and slave morality, he just wrote about it at length and codified it. He didn't come up with those ideas, though. the Marquis de Sade in the beginning of 120 Days of Saddam talks about master and slave morality. He doesn't directly use those terms, that terminology. Nietzsche is the one who coined those terms, but he talks about how much of morality comes from people in power. And even before him, in Socrates' time, during the first dialogue on justice in Plato's The Republic, he talks about he talks with Thrasymachus, I think is how you pronounce his name, and he talks about how the masters are the ones who designate what is moral and immoral. They're always the ones who make the rules. So Nietzsche was not the first to come up with the idea, but he was the first to write at length about it and make it a whole philosophy. To me, it goes in like this weird cycle of like pushing back and forth, of these weird states of mind. Like you go from the Dark Ages to the Enlightenment, and now we have the modern day, where people were atheistic for a short period of time, and now they're going back into more religious mindsets. I feel like that's just the natural course of things. Because the smaller you go in science, the more probabilistic it becomes, and the less it makes sense. With quantum mechanics and all that. Like, to me, quantum mechanics is proof of God, in my opinion. But that's, I guess, up for debate. Because when things are probabilistic at a small scale, but then they scale up to less probability and more certain magnitudes and physicality and physics, I don't think... I'm pretty sure that that's just a hint that it's pretty much impossible to know everything beyond a certain level. Because everything that we know just breaks down after a certain point. Much of our knowledge kind of hinges on the fact of the speed of light being the speed limit of the universe. And quantum mechanics breaks that because there's a lot of phenomena that goes faster than the speed of light. So now everyone's kind of been struggling to find a schema to work with this new physics, but they can't even wrap their heads around it. Evolutionary biologists kind of work at a lower scale than quantum physicists. Quantum physicists work on a more like how do I put this? Like they're working on a smaller scale because you're looking at things on a larger scale. So evolution, everything that you see is determined by processes, but then everything is determined on like a molecular scale for like atoms like connecting with each other. Like everything is up to chance in nature except for atoms becoming like what determines a carbon atom from a hydrogen atom or even electromagnetism. You don't know. I mean, even when you ask the books, and we refer to this book right here, General Chemistry by Linus Pauling, he even says there's zero explanation for most of the phenomena beyond a certain point. It's just how it is. He says it's just the way it is. So they know how things work, but they don't know why things work. So, and you can glean knowledge from pure raw reason alone. That doesn't have to come from sense experience. But, and I don't think people are comfortable with the idea of there being a God, because they would have to come to terms with everything that they know about has to work within a moralistic framework, and they don't like the idea of them being sort of degenerate in terms of a metaphysical sense, that their very natures are wrong. To think that person's very nature is wrong, you would have to really study yourself and work on yourself then, and most people don't have the will to work on themselves. And to go back to the Marquis de Sade, I think one of the things that he says to sort of justify himself and what he does, even though he's a horrible, sadistic person, we even have the word sadistic come from his own name. He justifies it by saying, well, if God did not want me to be this way, I wouldn't even have these natures to begin with. Which I think is buffoonery and not very good reasoning, because you have several natures in you. You have good natures and bad natures. You just choose the bad ones over the good ones. So by saying that, oh, it's just nature for me to be this way, it's not true. You're just kind of removing responsibility from your soul when it decides to be evil. So the removal of responsibility to say that you're just a flesh automaton going based off biological instinct, I think is absurd, and I think it's trying to let go of guilt that you naturally feel when you do something that's wrong. Because I don't believe that the conscience is something that's imbued in you. I think it's just something that you have in you from the start. Even children know right from wrong. They don't have to be taught what's right and wrong. They know off instinct. And some people just choose to be evil, some people choose to be good. Some people have capacities for both, but that's why there's the picture of Saint Michael weighing people's souls on a scale. So if your goodness outweighs your evilness, then you'll be in good shape. But if your evilness outweighs your good, then you're not in good shape, and you probably have to get recycled. So you can't be perfect, but you can reach for them, and that's what separates good men from the others. Also, I'm just going to say this too. Because people often say you shouldn't judge others. Because if you judge others, you're a hypocrite, because we're all sinners. First and foremost, I'll say this. The idea of let he who is without sin cast the first stone. When Jesus was trying to stop the Pharisees from executing a woman for adultery. He was trying to save a woman from getting murdered for adultery. The punishment definitely did not fit the crime. Okay? So that doesn't mean you should be not judgmental. It just means you shouldn't be a fucking killer for someone who acts in a way that is immoral. Okay? Whenever someone says to me you're acting too judgmental, and that it's not part of scripture, I'm saying you should be judgmental. You should just not be worse than who you're judging. That's the thing. Because if you're ready to kill someone for being immoral, that makes you immoral. But saying you're a piece of shit for being immoral and an adulteress, that's not casting a stone. That's just being factual that you are being wrong and the wrong to do it. To state such things and to look down on people, I think should be encouraged. I just don't think you should go the extra mile and do what God is going to do when it comes time. Okay? You can say that they're fucking degenerate. You can say that they're trash. And that's all fine because it's true. What's not okay is you going to that level and stooping to that level and harming someone for it. That would be not good. But talking shit when a person deserves to be shamed for something, using "let he who's without sin cast the first stone" is not a good example. And that's just my take. And another take of mine is that all roads lead back to the source. So all spiritual roads eventually lead back to God at some point. When even the Buddha, when he went on his little spiritual journey, he got rid of most of his earthly things. Okay? Even Jesus said, if you want to get closer to God, get rid of all your shit. Get rid of all your money and possessions. So to live a spiritual life, you need to get rid of all your shit. All your money. All desires, you got to get rid of them. The women, the alcohol, the drugs, you got to get rid of them. You got every kind of material object that you own, get rid of it. Live very frugally, and don't even pay any mind to money or anything like that. And fast, and start fasting, and practice abstinence, and don't do anything pleasurable. Just go against the body, go against the mind, go against the world, and then you'll live a more spiritual, light experience. I think people should be empathetic and compassionate to a degree. But to completely withhold judgment entirely, I don't think that should be even possible. Because there are some evil men in the world, and I don't think they should be empathized with. That's kind of what happens with some people who get locked into a domestic disorderly situation because they end up empathizing with an abuser or a person who is no good. Okay? After a certain point, some people should not be compassionate with or empathize with. You have to use your better judgment and see them as a person that needs to be disciplined, and you have to put them away. You know, that's just the way it is. The idea of being overly compassionate, I feel like, is not the way all the time. I don't think it's the way to be all the time. Because compassion is like a motherly love. And I think a motherly love is a weakening love sometimes because it coddles you. It makes you softer. It makes you think that what you're doing is okay. Whereas a fatherly love is more disciplinary and makes you stronger. When your dad slaps you across the fucking face for doing something wrong, are you going to do it again? Probably not. But if you do something wrong and your mom says, "Oh, it's okay, honey. It's all right. I'm going to be compassionate and empathetic to you. It's okay, honey. It's all right." And then you go your entire life thinking it's all right when it's not. But when your father slaps the shit out of you, then you know. So, and our fathers are metaphorical for a father upstairs, but sometimes there's a lot of different ways of looking at things, and I think some people confuse herd morality with greater morality, and that's not true. I think a soul is an individual soul here on earth, and they have to go their own path, and it doesn't matter how compassionate or empathetic you are to others. What actually matters is your devotion to what is almighty and good. And God ultimately defines all that is good and almighty. And sometimes that might be socially unacceptable. Just like the story of, that's exactly what Kierkegaard argues in Fear and Trembling, with the story of Abraham sacrificing Isaac for God. He ends up not doing it, but the fact that he would go to such great lengths for his faith to sacrifice his own child, most people would say that, oh, Abraham was crazy, he was a murderer, but in reality, he was willing to take the life of his own son for God. And I think that is good. As absurd as some people might see that, it is good, because when you have one energy, this force, this creator that holds the superlative to what good is and has defined it itself and written it in the cosmos and the stars, you can't argue against that because you're composed out of it. So no, it isn't always good to be empathetic all the time, and no, it's not always good to be compassionate all the time. When you know something deep in your soul that God breathed into you, sometimes the things that you do might not make sense to most people, but you know it to be right anyways. So you gotta be one with the chaos sometimes, so that way you can come out the other side more pure and better than you were. All right. Well, it's 10:34. I'm going to bed. Sweet dreams, everybody. I think I talked enough. I'll be on again tomorrow. I'll let you